Welcome to Tasker 101 Tutorials. This is lesson 32E. And combined total, I think lesson 32 is the longest lesson ever, but that's because we are doing some advanced things and stuff and creating scenes and basically creating a little full-on little mini app that you can anyone could install on their phone and or tablet and use. This one is a little bit tablet specific, but it could be, you know, you could alter a few things and make a similar type of profile for your phone as well. So getting back to it, last time we created, we took this app that is meant to put a little notification box on the right or left from Google Voice or Facebook Messenger, and it now is showing the message as well as announcing who is sending the message. And then we created a scene to be able to enable or disable the whole entire profile. We're going to change that a little bit now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to I'm going to switch that to resize. I'm going to make this box a little bit smaller, and we're going to then move it. Let's go to move. I'm going to move it here. And then I'm going to go to normal. I'm going to add some text. I'm going to say current status of notifications. That's not what to do. That's what I wanted. Make that about, I don't know, 36 sounds good to me. Let's make it white, which it is. It's good. And we can, let's resize it a little bit. Alright, go back to normal, tap it, and let's go right. There we go. So current status of notifications. Again, I'm not going to be too persnickety. How do you like that word? I'm not going to be too persnickety about the look of it right now. If you were actually creating this, you would want to spend a lot more time, and I just want to get it done so you can see how it's done. But you can go back and, you know, do some fine-tuning of the look of it later on. So now what we want to do is we want to add options to enable or disable specific things for either a Google Voice message or a Facebook message. So let's go here. Let's go text. Let's go Google Voice. Okay, let me make that obviously bigger. Let's go about 28. See how that looks. Probably make it a little bit bigger than that. Let's go 35. Alright. Let's move that over here. Let's resize it. Alright. Normal. I'm going to long press this. I'm going to copy it. Long press. I'm going to, I don't know, long press over here. And now select paste. Only this time I'm going to change the text, Facebook Messenger. And then move this over to here. Alright, so now we need to add, basically going to add some toggles. So I'm going to long press here, I'm going to select text, and I'm going to say pop up, make that about 28. Let's see, let's resize that. And then move. That should be good. And go to normal. And then copy that. Copy. And long press. Paste. And then move it over here. And that's good. I'm going to long press. I'm going to paste again. Only this time. I'm going to say announce. And get these more lined up like that. And then long press. Actually go back to normal. And then long press. And then paste. Once again, change it to announce. Resize. And move this so that it lines up. Alright, so now we got this set up right. Now we need to add the actual toggle buttons. So we're going to long press on the screen, and I'm going to choose down here at the bottom, you'll see toggle. So I'm going to add that. And off label, off. On label, on. Label size, let's go about 25. Should be good. And label color, white is fine. I'm going to make that much smaller. Going to move it right here. And as you might have guessed, we're going to go to normal. I'm going to go to long press. I'm going to copy and long press paste. Back to normal, long press, paste. And basically we created one toggle, and then we're just copying that to all of them, to each different option. And you may wonder, you may be noticing, okay, every time you paste something, the size is slightly different than the when you copied. Why is that? I don't know. It's one of the magical imperfections of Tasker, basically, is what that is. But once you resize them, then you make them all the same. So now They're all matching, but these are just toggle buttons. All we've done is told them whether to change on or off, but we haven't made them do anything. And we need to make them do something. So what do we want to do? Well, what we need to do is we need to give actions to them so that they actually change what happens based on whether they're off or on. So let's, first I need to change the size of that because it's going to drive me crazy because it's a little bit off right now. Still feels like it's a little bit off, but it'll do for the purposes of this tutorial because we want to get into the functions. So we're going to go to Google Voice pop-up, and if you go to change, what that means is if someone clicks at toggle, so there is a change, what do you want to happen? And what we want to do is we want to set a variable based on that change. So go to variables and go to variable set, and we're going to create a new variable. I'm going to use small t for tutorial, and then Google Voice GV, and then no TIFF for notification, and then stat for status. Why that wasn't stat. Oh, good lord. Let's try this one more time. Percent T GV notify stat. And we're going to say set it to 1. And we're going to say if new value is on. So if when you tap the toggle it turns to on, so the new value is on, then set the status to 1. Because remember, 1 is always on, 0 is always off. And then variables, variable set, same variable. Now we can just pull it from the list. T GVI notify stat to 0 if TGV notify stat is off. So there we go. Now we need to do the same thing for announce, change, variables, variable set, and we're going to go T, GV, ANNOUNC, announce stat. And we're going to say set that to 1. Oh, good grief. And then we're going to say if new value matches on. So if the new value is on, then set that to 1. And then one more, variable, variable set. Now that it's in here, we can just select it. It says TGB, I didn't even notice I typed B instead of V, but that's fine, as long as we know what it is. It should be announced stat to 0 if new value matches off. So now when people tap this under Google Voice, they can turn on or off individually, pop up, or announce. And when you do the same thing for Facebook Messenger, it's pretty much the same way. I'm just going to do it as quickly as I can here, although not too fast because I'll end up screwing up. Variable set. This is going to be FB notif. I need to put a T before that. That's what I figured. Try to do something fast and then I just mess up. T F B notif stat 2 1 F new value is on. Variables, variable set. Now we can choose it from the list. T should be in the list. How come it's not? Variables, variable set. There we go. TFB notify stat to 0. If new value is off. Alright, one more to do and then we're done. You can see it does take a lot of time to create something like this, especially when you start adding in these type of settings. But if you want to create something that looks and works like a full-fledged app, then that's what you got to do. So now we're doing the same thing for the announce on Facebook, and that's if new val matches on. And one more time, variables, variable set, TB, TFB announce stat to 0. If the new val, oh good lord, sometimes tasker, scene building, and app building can be really annoying. Announce stat to 0 if the new val equals off. Alright, so here's what we have. We have our scene. Let's look at it. This is what it is, basically the name of it. This is your enable disable button for the entire thing. So if you disable it, the whole thing, nothing happens. But if it's enabled, you can still selectively turn on or off any of the main features. The pop-up box for Google Voice or Facebook Messenger, or the announcing for Google Voice or Facebook Messenger. But we haven't actually created the things to make those happen yet. We've only created the toggles, but they don't do anything. So we got to make them do something. So how do we do that? Well, we go to here, to our task that's actually showing the notification, and we add if statements. So let's go task, let's go if, and we'll say if Google notify stat matches 1. Remember, 1 stands for on. And then we'll move this up to here. And then we'll add another task. And we'll say end if, which basically means end this if statement. So, if you get a Google Voice text message, this task is triggered. It sets the notification to end title, and then if the status is 1, meaning it's turned on, then show the scene. But if that's not the case, then it won't do that, and then it'll just go down to the next, to after the end if. So we add another statement. We say task. We say if. And this time, we choose the TG, I said B, but should have made V, but GB announce stat is 1. So if the announce status of the Google Voice text message is 1, meaning it's turned on, then we want it to do these other things. So go put that right underneath. So if it's 1, then it'll split the variable, pick a random number, and announce who the message and the sender based on that random variable. However, if it's not 1, meaning it's 0 and therefore off, then it won't do anything. And you don't have to add an end if to this, because that is the end of the entire activity list, but you could if you wanted to. And now we want to go back to Facebook Notify, and we want to do the same thing with this. Go plus, task, if. The variable this time is the TFB notify stat, and if that is 1. And then we're going to drag that all the way up to here. And then we're going to go plus, task, end if, and we're going to drag that up here. So in other words, you get a notification in Facebook, and if the notify stat is 1, means it's turned on, then show the scene. But if it's not, then it just skips down to the end if and continues on. Add one more task, if. This time we're looking for the announce, Facebook announce, which is TFB announce stat. If that matches 1, and I'll bring that up here, and if that matches 1, then it'll do this. If not, it won't do anything. And then we go back. So now we're set with all of those things. One other thing that we do want to do is on the app, remember we have it set to show whether the app has been enabled or disabled. We also want it to show the toggles correctly to what they are currently set to. So we're going to do that. So what we want to do, we want to go back into our scenes. We're going to our Notify app, and we are going to name these toggles just so we know which is which. So we'll just do that really quickly. Instead of toggle 1, it's going to be GV Notify. Instead of toggle 2, this is going to be GV Announce. This is going to be FB Notify, and this is going to be FB announce. Now we have the toggles identified. It's good to name all your buttons like that so that you're able to identify them quickly. But for what we're about to do, it's really, really important. Alright, so we're going to go here, we're going to add, because now we're adding stuff to the end. We want to make sure that we end these if statements. So you have an if, else if, and then end if. And now that we've ended the if series, we'll now have some new task. New activities. Go plus, go scene, and we're going to go to element value. Scene name is 101 notify app. The element is the GV. We're going to start with GV notify, and we're going to set that value to whatever the TGV notify stat is, which is either 0 or 1, 0 for off and 1 for on. We're going to add another one, scene, element value, scene name, 101 notify app, element is GV announce, the value will be the TGB announce stat. We're going to add another one. It's the same thing for each one of them. Scene name, notify app, element, FB notify, value, TFB notify stat. One more. Scene, element value. The scene is the notify app. The element is now the FB announce toggle, and the value is the TFB announce stat. So when we show this scene, we're showing the scene, we're immediately changing the enable disabled button to be what it is, accurate to what it is. Then we're changing each of the toggles to reflect correctly what their status is. So that should do it. The one thing I didn't take time to fix, was the boxes. Again, you could take time and do that on your own. I don't want to waste time doing that here. I'm going to close this, and then in the final lesson 32F, I think we're on now, I'll export this and test it and show you how it works and how we've now created a fully functioning app with settings. And I'll also show you a few other things you might be wondering about. What if it's in portrait mode instead of landscape mode? So that I'm going to touch on all of that in the next lesson. Please click the like button, share this with anyone who's interested in Tasker. Check out my channel for a ton of Android app reviews, and also do product reviews and things like that. You might find some cool electronic products to go with your Android phone or tablet, so check all that out. And that's about it. Until next time, so have fun with Tasker.